All right, testing 1, 2, 3. All right, testing 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing. Yeah, hello, Zaki. How you doing? How's everything going? Testing, testing. How's everything going recently? How's everything going recently? All right, guys. So in this in this live stream, we're going to be fixing the bug that we have to fix from the last live, which is the bug that the actor of the pistol separates itself from the actual skeletal mesh that is in, like the location. They both separate from each other, and that causes bugs that causes such bugs that makes the character to not be able to pick up the weapon again if he drops the weapon. Because the reason why that happens is because somehow when you simulate the physics on the skeletal mesh of the pistol, it actually separates from the actor itself. So we're gonna have to try to figure out a solution for that. I don't know how I'm going to be able to fix it, but we're gonna have to figure it out together. Anatomia Facile said, "Hi Loco, can I ask you something out of context?" I mean, if it's appropriate, yes. You can ask anything. So let's go to pistol 1H. All right, so here we have the Draw Debug Point, which is a node that is used for, like, generally in the event tick, and it is used for drawing a point in the world, like we have right here. So as you can see, we have a point right there that is green, and we have another point that is blue. So we have two nodes. So one is for representing the actual location of the weapon itself, and the other blue one is for representing where the skeletal mesh is. So as you can see, it's separating, right? As you can see, when the pistol is simulated, it is separated, and we don't want that. We want the actor location to be together with the pistol itself. So I'm trying to think of a solution for this. Maybe we could use a attach node as soon as the game begins, or in the construction node. So we have the attach, I don't know if attach actor to component. I think that's gonna solve the issue. Now I think you're going to need a skeletal mesh for this one, because you need to specify a socket to reference and to tell the engine where exactly do you want the actual location to be attached to the weapon. So you need to specify a location in the weapon itself. So I'm going to use the slider. We could use anything, or just the handgun. The handgun is, you know, it's the weapon itself, so it's not going to separate even if you simulate the physics of the weapon. So I'm just going to copy the bone name, and for the socket name, I'm just going to paste that in there. Now for the skeletal mesh, I'm going to go to parent, and the target is going to be self. So I'm just going to reference itself. Let me just see something here. I'm using GASP, and I managed to make it first person, but in GASP, when you run with the character, the character leans forward a little bit, and that causes the camera to go through walls, to go through the walls. Do you know how to fix those things? You go through walls? Yeah, I think so. If your camera is going through walls, I think it's the spring arm collision issue that you have right now. So you're talking about this. So when you go first person, the camera glitches like this. Let me know. I mean, the way you could fix that is just by going to the static mesh, go down to the collision settings, and generally if you disable the option for the camera, I'm not sure if it's the camera or the visibility for the traces. So if you try to ignore, I don't remember how I actually fixed the issue. I'm gonna have to check it out. How I fixed the last issue that I got. Maybe the camera. If you ignore the camera, it's generally because of collision issues. Yeah, if you ignore the camera, then it's gonna work. Did you try that option? If that option doesn't work, I'm not gonna really be sure about how to fix that issue yet. So as you can see, it's not glitching anymore. So let me know if that helps. Yeah, I'm not so sure. So so keep relative. We're going to snap to target. I think all of them, and let's try to see if it's going to work. So what we're trying to do here is that we are trying to attach the actor of the pistol to the component, which is the skeletal mesh. So as soon as we play the game, if the actor is in the world, then we're going to execute this function in here that we just created, and then just press play. So as you can see, it didn't work. Let me see. I have an issue here attached to. Root component cannot be attached to other components in the same actor. Okay. Yeah, it cannot be attached. Yeah, I'm not sure how to fix this yet. Let's try attach actor, attach component to component. Okay, I have a better idea. Let's just hit this and go to the viewport. Let's drag the skeletal mesh to the default scene root. Actually, I don't know what this default scene root does. I'm just going to create another Draw Debug Point in here to see where it is located. I'm just going to choose a get world location, plug that into the position, and let me see where it is. Oh, okay. So all right. So the default scene root is the same location as the actor. So what happens if we drag the skeletal mesh to the default scene root to make the new root? Now we just compile. Oops. The boolean. Oh yeah. We have to delete this. Now press play. Yeah, I think the issue is now fixed. Let me just make this, the size of this bigger, of the blue one, which represents the skeletal mesh location. Yeah, so that way we can see both. Yeah, so that way it's fixed. So you don't necessarily need to do anything here. It's just that we just had to do that. Yeah, so that's it. I would suggest you to just let this code in here, just for further, in case you need it. Now let's try to fix the issue where when you press F, it says that the weapon is not detected. Usually this is a trace or collision setting on the weapon that's not, something's off in here. So the object type to identify is the weapon. So we're gonna try to go to the pistol, go to the skeletal mesh, and select the object type to be the weapon. But as you can see, it's already in here. But when you simulate the physics, physics only, it says that there is no query collision, right? And the way we could do this is by, if you add the box as we've added it before, that didn't work. But we're gonna have to try to do it once again. So I'm just going to make it so that the box can follow the pistol, so that if I move the pistol, the box can follow. Let me see if I simulate the physics on the pistol, the box is going to follow. So let's try that right now. I'm going to click on the box, and I'm gonna just make I'm gonna make the box to be visible in the world. Oh, there we go. Nice. The box is now moving with the character. But the box is, for the trace, it's like there was an object for the foot of the character, as you can see right there. So the way to fix that is, as we want the box to be identifiable, to serve as a identification for the weapon, we just want to turn off the collision for the box. So I'm just going to go to the collision presets, go to custom, and I'm just going to disable everything. And the object type is going to be weapon. Now, for the skeletal mesh, I think the object type doesn't necessarily need to be weapon. I think word dynamic would work. Let me just check if we're gonna have some collision bugs, because usually when you do this, the character glitches out on the weapon. No, it's not happening. Okay, it's working great. I like that. Okay, so let's go back to the pistol 1H, and if you go to the skeletal mesh, we're going to let those settings there. Now if you go to the box, we're gonna have to set query only. Let me just test it out to see if it's going to work. Yes. Okay. Yeah, query only works. What that means is that the box is not going to have collision, which means that we're going to fix the foot going into the box. So it's not going to have collision, but it's going to be identifiable by the box trace for objects, by this function right here, which is going to detect objects in the world. So I just want to make the box to be identifiable instead of the skeletal mesh itself, because we don't have an option to choose to have physics only and query and physics, right? We don't have that. So we only have the collision enabled query and physics. But if we do that, it's going to glitch the character into the weapon, I think. As you can see, it glitches the character. It's not, it doesn't work good. So what you want to do is that we want to make sure that we add a box so that it can serve as a identification for set up the box to be identifiable as a weapon, so that you can move. You can also move to whatever location you want. So I'm just going to put it in the center. like so. Now I'm just going to increase a little bit the thickness. I think I'm going to put 2 or 1. I think that's going to be a lot better. If you want, you can also choose the color. I'm going to put it white or kind of gray. I'm not seeing the... Let me put it to be red. I think it's going to be stand out a lot better. There you go. So you can pick up. There you go. Nice. That's perfect. Now we just want to make sure that we hide the visibility for that box trace. Okay. Yeah, we have arm distortion, bone distortion when we do that. As you can see, when the character is crouched, somehow we have bone distortion. I don't know why yet. Let me just check it out real quick. I think we're using the wrong animation pose for that. Go to the overlay layer, pistol 1H, overlay layers, and aiming. We press and play. Let me see if it happens the same on the GASP plus ALS if you have bone distortion, because if you do, they're going to have to have a separate bug fix. Yeah, we also have bone distortion there on the shoulder. Let's see on the ALS what happens. Cup. Yeah, the shoulder, like naturally, it's too much forward. I don't know if that's normal. Let me see the curve values for that. Okay, the curve values, they definitely change somehow. Let me just check something here. It's layering pelvis, spine 1, 1. It's all 1. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check it out later. Maybe it's Maybe it could be something silly like just a, you know, just a simple value. It could change everything. We could just like simply change one value from the other, like 1 to 0 or 0 to 1, and it can just change everything and solve the bug. But for now, we're just going to let it like that. It's not really a very important issue to fix right now. So let's try to drop the weapon now and see how it behaves. So drop the weapon. As you can see, all the states are working well. We have the can't pick up weapon is true. When you pick up the weapon, it says that the weapon wasn't detected. So now there is this issue right now that I don't know what's happening. Let me just turn on back this this box to see if the box is really there. So when you simulate the physics, as you can see, the box is really there. When you press G, oh yeah, the box disappears. So as you can see, the box is it simply disappears. I don't know where it goes. I'm gonna have to fix that as well. So in the event graph, not only are we going to draw the debug point to see where the square is, but also we're going to print out the location to see where it is. So print string. So let's get the box and get world location and plug that into the position in there, and the print string is going to be there. Let's put the key to be 10 in here. Press play. Here's plugged into the event tick, and let's see what happens. So as you can see, this X, Y, and Z location are representing where this little box in the pistol is. So if you press F and press G again, as you can see, the box goes to that location there. I don't know where it is. I'm gonna try to do something real quick here. I'm going to add a custom event here just to debug things. When I press key, the 5 key, handle said, I think it's normal. No need to worry about that. Because later if you change the mesh, it make over all that distortion. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, maybe. And also, I think also that could be fixed with in the animation itself. So we're gonna have to check it out. If the crouch animation, crouch aim, pistol animation is, is all good. Otherwise, you could just do something like this and save, I don't know, do something in the animation itself. But for now, it's not something that it's could be worried about. So when you press 5, we're going to get the pistol reference. Now we're going to get it and do execute the custom event. And I'm going to add a new input, and this is going to be actor. Actor object. What is it? Object reference. Actor object reference. And then we're going to set actor location. And then we're going to connect the box to see. Where that location is going. So when I pick up the weapon and press G, As you can see, the box disappears. It goes to that mysterious location where I don't know where it is. But if I press 5, I'm going to teleport to that location to see where it is. Okay, it's teleporting me to that location. It's pretty interesting. Let's try one more time. Alright, so drop it. Now teleport once more time. Yeah, it's teleporting to random locations. I don't know where, why that's happening. Let's try to attach component to component and see what happens. All right. Yeah, I think that works. I think that worked. Now the component is always, the box is always going to be in the weapons, in the weapon itself. So you don't need to worry about that anymore. All right. So this is going to be the fix, the final fix, the most efficient one, because we don't necessarily need to use the event tick for setting the location at runtime, which is going to cost more on performance. So we just have this node right here, which doesn't necessarily need to be in the event tick. Actually, it doesn't need to be in the event tick at all. You just have to do it once and it works. So this is absolutely necessary for preventing the box to separate from the skeletal mesh. So this is just prevent bugs of not being able to pick up the weapon again. Not being able to pick up once more time. All right. Okay, so drop the weapon. Now let's see if we can be able to pick it up again. Yes, we can. So that's going to fix the issue. Yeah. We have a little bit of delay. So as you can see, the green point is moving as it is having delay because we've added a delay in there. We've added a duration here. If we add 0, I think it's not going to be having a delay, or will it? Yes. I think that's not something to worry about. So I'm just going to delete everything in here. I'm just going to delete this as well. And I need to name this variable. So as you can see here, everything works now. I like this dark theme a lot. Everything is working now. If you press F, it's going to pick up the weapon, and all these variables here are going to be updated. So can pick up weapon is still true. Has pistol 1H in hands, true. It's not playing animation, false. Weapon detected, false. Has pistol 1H, posted, false. Okay. All right. Now we're going to set up the holster location. Usually you would pick a holster. Let me just search it up. Let's go to Sketchfab. So here in Sketchfab, you can click here on the downloadable section, and let's say holster. So they have different types of holster. The one that I used in the tutorial, the weapon system tutorial, is this one. It's very good. It works a lot. It works fine. And you can pretty much choose which holster that matches more of the character. And I think this tutorial is not going to be really necessary to put that right now, because we're basically focused more on the mechanics itself. So if you need that, if you need the holster or any type of model, 3D model, you can get it for free on Sketchfab. And yeah, that's going to be it. So we're going to go to the mesh, and for creating a holster, we're going to use the thigh R, because it's going to follow the same location and rotation of the thigh. So whatever the thigh, whatever the thigh goes, whatever place the thigh goes, the weapon is going to follow. So just going to right click on the R, we're going to add a new socket, and this is going to be thigh R holster pistol 1H, maybe. I don't know if the pistol is going to be on the right side or on the left side. That's all up to you, but I think as the character is holding the pistol on the right hand, I think it makes more sense to make the character to equip the weapon on the right hand. Unless you have a different animation that's different, but yeah. So I'm just going to copy the name. Actually, not copy the name right now. I'm just going to add a preview asset, and I'm going to add the pistol. So I don't remember where. Oh, I have the pistol holster in here. But in this tutorial, I think I'm going to follow without the pistol holster, so that we can better see what's going on, and we can make it more simple, as much simple as possible. I'm going to keep as much simple as possible. So go to skeletal mesh and go to this. Okay, the name of the skeletal mesh is skey handgun. So in here, we're going to just add a preview asset to see how the gun is going to look like. Let me just see how. I think it's a little bit big. Is it that big? Yeah, it is big. Yeah, this pistol is bigger than his thigh. Almost. All right, I think that's enough. Now we're just going to copy the name. And of course, we're going to need the animation for that. Oh, we had a bug there. No, I think I'm tripping. All right. Go to weapon pickup logic. And I think we need a key for holstering the weapon. I wonder if Q works. So let's try to use the Q. Holster logic. Holster logic. Yeah, let's try to use the Q key for doing that. So first thing, we're gonna have to check the states. So as soon as you're holding the weapon, you have those variables all set to whatever value they need to be. So I'm just going to check it out. So the can pick up weapon doesn't matter for holstering the weapon. For has pistol 1H in hands, this matters. So this has to be true. This doesn't matter. Yeah, I think this matters as well. Play pickup pistol animation. So if the character is not currently playing any animation, if the character is currently playing the pickup animation, then it's going to be false. We're not going to be able to holster the weapon while doing that action. So play pickup animation has to be false. I think it's better to do it like this. So if it's not, then we can continue. Overlay state. So I think the overlay state doesn't really matter. And it has pistol 1H holster that has to be in the graph as well. So just going to drag and drop it. And of course we need to know if the weapon, the pistol is already holstered before we can holster the weapon. So if it's not, then we can continue the execution. There you go. And after that, we're going to prepare the character for holstering. So holster phase, and it's just going to expand that section there. And then after this, we are going to set the block movement input. So in the whole surface, we're not going to be able to, well, actually, yeah, I think it's, I don't know. We're gonna have to think about this one right here because, for example, in the Last of Us, you can holster the weapon while you're moving the character, while you're moving with the character. I think so. So I think the best way to holster the weapon in the phase of holstering the weapon, I think we could block other movements, like excluding the locomotion part, going to the left or right, moving the character to the sides. But we should, in the holster phase, we could block such actions like picking up the weapon, because when you're holstering the weapon, we can block, like you have to wait for the animation to complete before you can actually pick up other weapons and do other actions as such. And we have two ways of doing this. We could either play a montage, or we could play an animation in the animation, somewhere in the animation graph in here. So we really need to think about the logic and structure of doing things before we can actually do it. But I think in the weapon system, I used a montage animation so that we can use that in here, somewhere in the graph. Instead of just creating a new state machine for handling all types of holstering, which is not, I think it's not really necessary for now. Yeah, let me just see how it is in on The Last of Us. I'm gonna have to see how it is first in The Last of Us and try to get some ideas. I don't know if the stream is going to lag, but let me know. Yeah, it is lagging a lot, but Let me just see.
Agora sim.
Yeah, that doesn't really help. Anyway. All right. Let me just see how I made it on the weapon system. So here you can pick up the weapon. So here we have the equip and equip weapon. We press Q so that we can execute and check if the character already has the handgun. Check if the character is playing any montage, of course. That's very important as well. And we check if the handgun is already holstered. If it's not already holstered, then we holster the gun. So we play a montage. The unequip montage. Okay. Yeah, I think playing a montage is going to be a lot better. But then we have this timeline here, which then updates this float value in here. And if you check out the equip time in there, let me just see where that variable is. Equip. Yes. All right, over here. So as you can see, if you update that, if you host the weapon, so as you can see, that value changes from 0 to 1, and then goes back to 0. And basically what that does is it updates the LayerBlendPerBone. Let me see what. Okay, pick up action, normal locomotion. All right. So it gets the base pulse from all of this. It gets all the base pulse from all of this. So here's the normal locomotion, which is from this one. And the pickup action. Okay, this is the pickup pistol. And then we use a separate slot, which is called slot for handgun equips, for equipping the weapon. And then we have this LayerBlendPerBone here, and then we choose the clavicle R and the upper arm L to make this work. I don't know why the upper arm L is needed here for equipping. The weapon. Let me just delete that and see how it works. See how it behaves. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure why. Alright, so I guess we can follow the same way. We can follow the same structure as in here, as it is in here, but we're gonna have to make it much more organized, because as soon as we keep adding the features, it gets to be a lot more complicated. It gets to be a little bit, I don't want to say the word messy, but yeah. So after all that, let's just save the motion matching. I'm going to call this motion matching cache. Hello, Penitent. So we're going to save that and get the motion matching cache. And then we're going to use a LayerBlendPerBone. And then we're going to create a new slot for the equip. Let me see if I have the equip. I think I don't have the equip animation yet, so I'm just going to move that over. So equip. Okay. Game animation sample. And then here, as soon as you migrate the files, as you can see, I already created a default slot for the montage itself, as it was in the previous project. But if you don't have that handguns equip, yet, you can go to Window, Animation Slot Manager, and here you're going to be able to see all the default existing, actually all the existing slot managers, animation slots that you have available for you to be able to use. And here you can add a new slot, and those slots are basically for being able to choose and organize better, like which specific part of the body you want to modify, to use when you play a certain montage. So in here, if you want to add a new slot, you can just add it here. So in mine it is already added, so I'm just not going to change anything. Now for adding that slot into the animation graph, you're going to get the slot, default slot, and then on the slot name, we're going to select the handgun equips. And from there, you can just plug that into here. I think it's better for you to be able to create a state machine for this, because I think it's going to be a lot better for handling things. So we're going to create a state machine for equipping and unequip states. So I guess this could be used for, it could also be used for equipping or unequipping all sorts of weapons, not only pistol. So we can just make it only one state machine. I think this is a lot easier and more compact and organized way for doing things. So I'm just going to copy this and get the state to be in here. So motion matching cache. This is the normal one. And motion matching cache. And then in here, we add a new state. And inside that new state, we're going to just copy and paste now for the layering, layered blend per bone, we're going to choose two. One is for the clavicle R, and the other one is for the upper arm L. It is right there. And I'm not sure if the handguns equip. Oh, we don't have that yet checked. ALS update source polls, we don't have that. So I don't need to mark that option on. This one is going to be for equipping, for example, pistol. All right, so let's just try it out. We're gonna have to make it so that this transition rule here is somehow activated by some variable inside the character blueprint. So as soon as you press F or as soon as you press Q, somehow there's going to be a float in here, and we're going to have a variable, a boolean variable called is holstering weapon. Actually, in the process of holstering the weapon, or in this case, the weapon, we're going to have to specify what kind of weapon. So this is pistol. So is holstering pistol, and is pistol holstered. So two types of states that we have in here. Oh, I think we already have that in here. Is pistol holstered? Or maybe not. Yeah, we already have that one in here. So I'm just going to no, I don't have to delete this. Oh yeah, it crashed. Okay. Oh no, it didn't crash. Okay. So at the end, we're just going to plug that as soon as the animation finishes. So now we're going to play a montage. And in here, handgun equip. I'm just going to select that in there. And if I just press on play, let's see what happens. If I press on Q, it just plays the, it's not going to play anything because we need a variable to be in here. So is holstering pistol is going to be in here. So this variable is going to be true. And as soon as the animation finishes or it blends out, we're going to disable the holstering pistol in here. So here we're going to get the property access. We're going to get the sandbox character. Here we're going to get if it's holstering the pistol. So is holstering pistol in here. I'm just going to copy and paste that transition rule to here. So as soon as we finish holstering the pistol, we're going to go back to the normal state, the motion matching state, motion matching cache. So let's see if that's gonna work. Not sure. Let's test it out. So press Q. No, press which key is it? Okay, the G drops the weapon and the Q equips the weapon. Okay. I don't know what's happening here. Okay, so this is for equipping. Yeah, but this one is actually for if the rate scale has to be different. Oops, not this one. It has to be actually reversed because this animation here is actually played like this. Is actually played like this, or this animation is for equipping, only equipping the weapon, but what I've done is just reverse that animation so that the character can, you know, just equip the weapon back as it is right here. So as I've reversed the animation in here, so the rate scale is set to be -1. That means that the animation has to be played in reverse. So as soon as you pick up the weapon and try to equip it, it doesn't work anymore for some reason. If I do this, oh, now it works. Okay, so that's the tip. If you want to play the montage in reverse, you don't actually select the rate scale in here because that's gonna not cause the animation montage not play at all. But if you click on the sequence and change it in here, play the play rate in here. So let's say -1 if you want to play backwards. This way it's going to work, right? But this animation here is taking too long, and the handgun equip is not in here, it's actually in here. And I don't know what this animation notify is for, but for the sound, it's working great. So let's try to cut this animation in here. The start time is going to be .4. Actually, the start time, the end time is going to be minus .4. There we go. Now if you press on play, let's test it out to see if it's going to work now. So press Q. Okay, I think it worked. But it's a little bit weird. I don't know what's going on. The character's arm. Let's just try to reduce that a little bit more. So let's try 995 in here as for the end time, because we also have the blend time. The blend logic could be inertialization. Let's try to see if we can get some better values with that. The duration is going to be .5, and it's going to be for all of them, for all the transitions. Yeah, the reason why it's called the reason why it's doing that is because we don't have the inertialization node in here. So inertialization, let's just put that node in here. So we can press on play. Let's see if it's going to work now. Yeah, I think it's a lot better. I can try to do one more thing in here, which the blend depth is going to be 1 here. And for the spine, 5, I'm going to select 9 for the blend depth. I don't know how to say that name, but Uyubir, beating to you. Hey mate, you're awesome. Nice to see you live coding. Your video is really helping me to learn more every day. I'm glad it helped. I'm glad it's helping you. Usually when I started, I used to watch Matt Asplund, and Matt Asplund also used to teach me a lot about locomotion. So I started coding with his tutorials, and I went from there. Just call me Uye. All right, Uye. Uye. Let's try mesh space rotation blend. Let's see what happens. Yeah, that's not good. It's using the rotation rate of the character to calculate the rotation of the character, and that's all due to the rotation rate. Is that the motion matching setup, we need to set the rotation rate to -1 to disable the rotation rate, so that the character can do these turns right here. To be honest, I would love to see more tutorials from you, covering more details. I hope you have time for it. Yeah, I've been trying to make a course that would cover like almost everything I know, very much everything I know about Unreal Engine. I think the course is going to be very long, but I'm still working on it because there's a lot to cover, and I want to make it as much as understandable as possible, so that you can have the course and you don't need to go back to the course every time to see if you really understand what I'm saying, or because yeah, if you can really master one node at least. So let's say for this node right here, LayerBlendPerBone, if you can master and know how it works, you can pretty much jump into other nodes like slot, default slot, how default slot works, how cache poses works, what is this output animation pose, what are states, what are state machines, what are transition rules, so that there are a lot of things to be explained. I've tried to create on my Discord channel for, I think, for the Patreon members, I've created a special channel where I talk about the node explanations, where I do node explanations so that people can know how each node works. And I try to explain as much as I can, but it is still pretty much complex. It's very hard to explain it by text as well. Like some things are simple to explain, but some other things, they require a little bit more expertise to be able to, explain it and know how it works and know when to use it. But I try to do my best to be able to explain things before I can actually make a course that I can. I think it's more efficient this way. And regarding tutorials, I'm not planning to do any tutorials right now. I'm actually thinking about which tutorial I should make. Because I'm thinking if I should create a new tutorial that covers the new locomotion system, like the cover system that people are asking a lot to make. But the thing is that I don't have the animations to do it, so I'm gonna have to hire an animator to do it for me because I don't know how to animate myself. So, or I could either try to improve the already existing locomotion systems that I've already done in the past. For example, this push and pull objects tutorial in here, it had like 28,000 views, but it doesn't really work well. It was 1 year ago. I was still learning how to do things. And I could try to make a improved version of systems that actually work well, and then later move on to making other more interesting locomotion tutorials, new locomotion systems different from the others I've already made. Yeah, animations are hard. Like either to make them and either to put them in the game and make it work as you want them to work. It's hard. But it's very much doable with time and effort. Everything's possible. All right, I think this is pretty good enough. I'm not complaining. Let me see how it is in the in the weapon system. Let's see how it is. So you can equip the weapon. Yeah. I don't know, but in this, I don't know if it's just me but in this project, it seems that the equip animation, it's much more cleaner. I'm not sure how to explain that. Maybe it's the curve, but there's no curving here. Yeah. Blend with motion based on root bone. Okay, the option is also on. I'm just going to set it to be 0. The blend depth. Let's see how it works. I think it's the same, but this one is a lot more smoother. I'm going to set the duration for 0.2 for both of them, so that I don't know if it's just me, but the arm moves too much. the shoulder dislocates too much. Yeah, it's normal. Okay, it's normal. I think it's by the animation itself, because if you take a look at that, let me see how the animation, because it also depends on the animation quality. But I want to also have that kind of how do you say that? Shoulder. Yeah. I even don't know which node can perform how many functions and in how many places to perform different function. Yeah, it's just, It's just a journey, like everything. Even I'm learning. Even I'm learning things each day because there's a lot to learn. Yeah. I think there is a different way of doing this because as we have the ALS complex layering system, we can use the curves, but I'm not sure if that's going to be the case. Okay, let's try it out. Let's see if I can try to do this in a different way. I'm curious to see if that's going to work. So I'm just going to put this in here and compile. All right, so this is the handgun equips. If I do play and press on Q to equip the weapon, as you can see, the character, like the movement of the shoulder together with the spine and the chest, they all move correctly. It's just that this animation is it's a little bit bad because the character moves too much. I don't know what's going on with his head. I don't know if it's the animation, it's part of the GASP system. You know, but when you play the animation, the legs froze. The legs freeze, right? But I want to make it so that it only affects the upper body, and I'm not sure if we get the same curves and put it into the animation montage, it's going to play. So let me show you what I mean. So if you go to the overlay layer and go to the pistol one hand and go to the aiming, here, as you can see, when you aim, all these curves are enabled, right? So if I just copy them, so these curves, the value contained on these curves really make only the upper body of the character to shoot or do whatever stuff that's needed. But if you actually, I'm gonna try to make it so that I can copy those curves, those curve values, so that it only affects the upper body as well. But I'm not sure if that's going to work, but let's try to see if it will do anything. So it's going to play back. All right, so press Q. Yeah, it doesn't work. Interesting. I think is because maybe, yeah, it's not gonna work because, where is it? Where am I? It's not gonna work because the slot it overrides all the previous functions in here. So when you press on play, as you can see, when you pick up the weapon, and if you execute animation montage that uses this slot right here, as soon as you play that montage that's using this slot, all the previous logic is going to be overridden. It's going to be ignored so that it only plays the animation, as you can see right there. So it blocks, it pretty much ignores all the previous logic and only plays the montage. And we don't want that. So I wanted to also consider the blending that I'm doing here. So to do that, I'm going to place it right here. I'm not sure where to place it. If it's before, if it's after the two-way blend or after the LayerBlendPerBone. But let's try right now. So equip the weapon. Okay. Let's try after. Yeah, it's worse. So let me try to check the curves. Layering legs. Let's try to get this curve value to be 0. And yep, that's it. Let's just see if that's going to solve it. Yeah, I'm not sure yet. I have a question. Not sure if you're good at C++. I want to use proper delegate for montage to wait for finished. No, I'm not good at C++ and at C++, and I'm not sure if that's only achievable with C++. I'm not sure what you mean by proper delegate. Is that a function or proper delegate? I've never heard about that one. Delegate. Okay. How can I do this? Okay, I'm going to try to use the slot called pelvis. So let me just try to see, or spine. Yeah, let's just try to see if that's gonna work. Okay, that's something. Pelvis. Let's see. Oh. Curves. Arm right. Legs. Yeah. I'll be honest, I just started my journey 5 days ago. Yeah, I think that's the most of my audience. They are also beginners as well. I just starting with Unreal Engine. Full course from me? No, I'm just still working on it. But you can try to search for courses, blueprint courses from the Udemy website. You can search for blueprint courses, and you're going to find beginner to advanced, and that's the one that you should look for. Look for the one that teaches you how to. They explain in blueprints how the variables work. I think that's the most important part. And then jump into nodes. And then later jump into animations. But right now I don't have a course, so yeah. That was fine. I don't know why the character is doing that. No idea. This is the spine too of the character. Oh, okay. So the handgun equip is not. It's not in the correct slot. Okay, got it. Okay. Hello, game dev. Never used Unreal, but looks really interesting. Yeah, it is. I find the Unreal Engine better. I mean, the UI is much more intuitive than Unity. In Unity, I think the UI gets me lost to see where I'm at. I don't really know where I'm at. So the UI is completely different. But for some people, they think that Unity is better. The UI is much more simpler than the Unreal Engine. So yeah, I think it's just a matter of getting used to it, I guess. Spine. We got something there. Let me just take a look at the layer blending. What's going on inside here? So if I select the spine as the default slot, this here should be executed. As you can see right there. So I press Q. This here is this here is executed, as you can see right there. But it only moves the character spine. Let me try to see if I can get the arm right. So if I press on play, pick up the weapon. So the right arm is, the slot is available. So if I switch to the arm right and press on play, and if I press on Q, okay, it works. It's great, but when I'm moving, I mean, it's okay. It's okay. But when I'm moving, I think the arm, it bends a little bit more and it causes a little bit of bone distortion. Layering arm right. What happens if I set it to 0? Nothing. Okay. Yeah, so I think that's going to be it for today. I'm gonna try to see if I can find an issue and a problem for this issue. And I'll come back later because it's been tough recently with this trying to solve this issue here. It's been really complex to solve because we're already working with a very complex system, and both systems are very complex to merge with each other and make them work. But that's not an excuse. We're just going to keep trying until we can get something to work much better. And of course, try to organize this and keep it clean. Like in the ALS, as you can see. It's much cleaner, as you can see right here. They organize it to animation layers, so that I guess we can also try to do that. So it keeps things much cleaner, in my opinion. Let me see if I can try to do that. So if I cut this and then open up a new animation layer and type motion matching. Please don't crash. Okay, crash. Let's just try to do this and then I'm gonna go. Very, but I want to be but I want to come up with better wire and smooth. Okay, so let's try to do it again. Animation layers, open up a new one, and then do motion matching layer. And then compile, save, and then go back to the animation graph. Cut all of this. Go back to the motion matching layer and paste that in there. Okay, so now we have a new motion matching layer, which is right here. And we can just drag that over there. And that way we can just organize things better. So as you can see, the graph is now much cleaner. And all right, I guess that's going to be much more cleaner. And that's going to be it. I hope you enjoyed. I want you to come up with a better way and animation is smooth. Yeah, working on that. Yeah, so that's going to be it.